YouTube, what's going on? I'm going to wrap up today with just a quick little comparison video. A lot of stuff going on with the layout. I got a lot to do tomorrow. A lot of cars to put away. A lot of little premium detailed stuff. As well as a lot of stuff over here. New haulage. This is pretty much all the stuff I've acquired over the last month or so. Mostly from the Toy Pimp, but some of it from collecting for Ben, some of it from Andrew Jaremko. So, awesome stuff. I love getting stuff like this because it doesn't show up very often. So when it does, it's just so cool, man. There's some amazing diecast out there that a lot of times I don't even know about it, like that Escalade. I had no idea that even existed until I saw it. So, pretty cool. Love getting that kind of stuff. This video here is going to serve as, well, I don't know. There's, with all these premium brands of diecast, you have CMs. You now have Inno64, which is a great brand, great detail. You've got Oversteer, which is another great brand. Tomica Limited Vintage, everybody knows that brand. Konami, I think more people know that today than knew it a year ago. By the way, look at the hood on this. I wanted to just share this real quick. The hood lines on this Mitsubishi Lancer, I absolutely love the hood lines. The way that the hood kind of slopes down and the headlight, I don't know, the headlights are just, they come out of the fender. It's such a good look. Very cool. I don't know why I felt like sharing that, but a lot of brands out there, and a lot of brands out there that do it pretty well. Typically, though, Tomica Limited Vintage is the benchmark for what premium diecast should be. But with brands like Oversteer and Inno64 coming along, the problem with these new brands is very, very limited tooling catalog. TLV's tooling catalog is quite extensive, as is Kyosho's. Kyosho's another great brand, but when you compare the detail of Oversteer and Inno64 to Kyosho, they are as good, probably actually better. Konami, on the other hand, I would say Kyosho and TLV are both nicer than Konami. That's my personal opinion. Some folks may disagree with that, but I like Konami. It's a really good quality. It's nicer than Greenlight and Johnny Lightning, and in some cases probably even Auto World. But for the most part, TLV and Kyosho, I feel, are superior to Konami. CM's is nice, but it's a niche brand. That's, if you like rally cars, no other brand is gonna. I don't think any other brand does rally cars as well as CM's. Kyosho does them better when they do them. The problem is they don't do rally cars like CM's does. Like, you can't get a Peugeot Kyosho, at least not in 1/18 scale. So for rally cars, definitely CM's. I think that pretty much sums that part of it up. So what I wanted to do, because with these brands, with Inno and TLV and Konami and Oversteer and Kyosho and all these other brands, there's very little crossover, which is a good thing for collectors, because then it allows you to collect a lot of different stuff rather than trying to find a certain car and determining who you think has the best version of that car. And that's kind of what we're going to look at here. With his permission. So today at the Toy Pimp at his house, I scooped this casting up for Champion DJK. So I asked him if he would be okay with me doing this, because I wouldn't want to do this if he wasn't okay with it. It's his car, it's his video content, and I don't want to take that from him. But I thought, yeah, it'd be a good opportunity because there's very little crossover from TLV to Kyosho, and here we have a TLV and a Kyosho. The car is a Lancia Delta. I don't know what the year is. So the one I have is the Kyosho. It's the Lancia Delta HF. What is that? I can't read that last word. But anyways, Kyosho TLV. The TLV, gotta be very careful with these cars. I don't even. So there's the base on the TLV. Lancia Delta Integrale. Okay, so that's what mine is. It's an Integrale. That's the word that I couldn't figure out what it is. So let's take a look here. At first glance, they look pretty close at first glance to the naked eye. For some reason, to me, the Kyosho looks more sporty. Actually, I know why it does. It's because of the way the front bumper is molded and painted. It could be that they're different model years. It could be that they're different trim packages. I don't know. But they both look really good. The first observation that I make from this angle right here, the Kyosho appears to have a thicker coat of paint, which the thicker you go on the paint, the more you're going to see the sculpted detail disappear. And I don't see that happening with the TLV. I see much more pronounced sculpted detail on the TLV. Going into this video subjectively, like one prediction that I'll make, and we'll see how it pans out, but one prediction I'll make, I think in general the TLV is going to be much better. But if I were to bet on it, I would bet that the Kyosho ends up having a nicer stance. And I could be wrong. I'm just basing that off of Kyosho and them being completely spot on with all their stances. So let's start with the front end here. And as I mentioned, the yellow one, which is mine, which is the Kyosho, much more sporty looking on the front end. The TLV has the bumper that's much more distinctive to the body of the car. You got the molded composite plastic there on the front of the bumper. It's just a totally different look. Both cars have very highly detailed front grills and transparent lens headlights with detailed indicators. And they both look amazing from the front. For me, it's hard to say that one looks better than the other because they both look, to me, equally good. Okay, so let's go to the side of the car. Now, I knew this would be kind of an issue. I'm not a big fan of dark wheels in this scale. Okay, so there is the TLV Lancia wheels. It's about as good of an angle as we're going to get. Alright, so I think as far as the wheels go, it's a win for Kyosho. Kyosho does make much nicer wheels than TLV. I don't think that's any secret. I think anybody that collects both would agree with that Kyosho makes some of the best 1:64 scale wheels out there. The way that they are made, with the amount of detail that they're made, because they're not painted detail. They are cast, and you can see those are all openings. Like TLV wouldn't do that. A TLV would be molded in one piece, and then you might or you might not get painted detail on the back shadows. That's not the case with Kyosho wheels. You get all the detail with the Kyosho. Now, with that said, the wheels and tires on the TLV are still very nice, and they are prototypical, as are these. So, one nice feature that you get with TLV, this may not matter to some people. To me, it really doesn't matter, but I like it when cars have it, but it's certainly not a deal breaker. But with TLV, you definitely get suspension, and this car has amazing suspension, very soft. It just feels really nice, that suspension, and this thing would look sick slammed. So that's a win right there for Tomica Limited Vintage. So on the front, I would say Thai. On the side, for the wheels, I would say Kyosho. For suspension, definitely Tomica Limited Vintage. For side detail, the Kyosho here is very nicely detailed, and the Tomica Limited Vintage is very nicely detailed. Now here's the thing. If you look at the side view mirrors, maybe this is just because of the model year, maybe it's because of the Kyosho being a custom paint job. I don't know what the case is, but to me, the edge goes to Tomica Limited Vintage. The side view mirror looks really, really good on the TLV, and to me, that's what separates the side detail. So I would give the side detail to Tomica Limited Vintage, mainly because of the side view mirrors. I think their side view mirrors are quite a bit nicer than the Kyosho. Also, if you look at the glass there on the Kyosho, and then come over here and look at it on the TLV. The TLV is much more clear. It's the most clear glass in 1:64 that I've seen. Auto World is up there. They use really good quality windows, but TLV has been the best that I've found so far. So that also gives the edge a little bit to Tomica Limited Vintage. So now let's work our way to the back of the cars. Okay. There are things about both that I like here. I like the spoiler on the Kyosho. The lens headlights look to be pretty equal. I don't know that I would say one is better than the other. If anything, I would say the Kyosho's probably better because you have the amber indicators in there. I'm not seeing that with the TLV. TLVs appear to be all red. But I like all the other detail with the TLV. All of the black molding looks great. The dual exhaust coming out looks great. But I really like the detail of these tail lights with the indicators. To me, that's a huge plus. So for me, I'd give the back to the Kyosho just on the premise that the tail lights are more detailed. But that's not to take anything away from this because this looks amazing as well. So far, I would say we're pretty even. This side is going to be the same as the other side, so I'm not going to get into that. Side view mirrors on the TLV definitely have a lot more detail. On this one here, we have a pretty well detailed gas cap. That is actually amazing, the amount of detail that I'm seeing right there. If you would have to realize how small that is. That is tiny, and look at the detail. You've got the center dot, and I don't know if those are rivets or screws or what, but just to give you an idea of how small that little black circle is, this is a toothpick. It's tiny. That's a lot of detail in a very small space. Gas cap on this looks great. Very nice sculpted detail, as well as, look at that, there's a keyhole. That is unbelievable. You would not see that from any other brand, I guarantee it. They put a keyhole on the gas cap. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Okay, quarter panel. What do we got here? HF. Little HF badge. I like the door handles on this one a lot better too. They look a lot better. And then over here. So yeah, all in all, I think both of them are very nice in their own right. For fit and finish, it's definitely always going to go to Tomica Limited Vintage. Always. 10 times out of 10. The feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Textile or I don't know. The way it feels in your hand, the TLV is so much better than Kyosho, and I've always felt that way. Because when you pick up a TLV, it feels like a very solid car. They all have a good weight to them. You can just tell it's a good quality product. When you pick up a Kyosho, you don't always get that sensation. A lot of times they feel light, they feel cheap, but it's okay that they feel cheap because you know you're getting a Kyosho and you know that it's not cheap. You know that you're getting a lot of detail. So as far as the fit and finish goes, I will give it to TLV every single time, unless it's being compared to a oversteer, and then TLV might lose that. But I love the fact that the TLV is a metal body on a metal base that is spun, not screwed, with very soft rubber tires. I love all of these things about TLV, and that suspension is huge too. You do not get that with Kyosho. So what it boils down to in this case, they're different styles of cars. So it really just boils down to which look do you like better? Do you like the sporty look or do you like the more stock look? That's the first thing. The second thing is it's really tough to decide. So the best thing to do is to just get both. And at some point, I will have to get this. The Toy Pimp did have another one in this color. So he did not, however, have another one of these. I got this from him a couple months ago, and it was the last Lancia that he had. And I do quite like it. And now that I know that Champion DJK has a soft spot for these, I may have to offer the yellow one up to him in a trade of some kind. If, maybe, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I really do like this car. I like the look of it. I like collecting station wagons. In addition to station wagons, I like to collect hatchbacks. And there probably are a few more hatchbacks in 1 to 64 than wagons. But there aren't many, so I don't know. I don't know if I'd give it up or not. I might. It would depend on the trade. But there you go. That's your comparison. It's the Lancia Delta from Tomica Limited Vintage and also from Kyosho. I would love you guys to comment below with your thoughts. Which one do you guys like better? Which one do you think looks better? And what do you think? Thank you for checking out the video. And I'll holler at you all later on. Have a good Sunday. Go Broncos.